So with The Legend of Zelda's 40th anniversary next year, the release of the movie in 2 years, and the simple fact that we're probably at least 2 to, I don't know, God dare I say, 6 years away from the next new big 3D Zelda, the inevitability of an Ocarina of Time remake is just becoming more and more telling. So I'd like to open up the conversation of what could an Ocarina of Time remake look like on the Switch 2? I think in my heart of hearts, how do they remake Ocarina of Time? They don't. The game's just too precious. It needs to be protected at all costs, damn it. Do you know what I mean? But we have got to be honest with ourselves in that this game is probably coming. And in the end, you know, this remake could be an updated port of the 3DS remake. And that's fine, honestly. It would probably make a lot of people happy. But just what if Nintendo didn't have to practice as much restraint and they truly could give us a ground up, brand new plating of this game? What do you think? Does that sound fun? Because we're in this together now, so let's go. First up on this roadmap, we're gonna hit the visuals. The art style, the graphics, what this game could look like on your big brand new Switch 2. Then we're covering gameplay. I'm talking a weapon wheel, the controls, the music, and the game's sound design. And last stop on the journey is the story. I'm thinking more focused on changes to be made both big and small to the dungeons and their bosses. All right, let's start this game up. And my first absolutely must-have is a master mode, hero mode, mirror mode, whatever you want to call it. And Nintendo, please don't make me beat the game at least once to unlock it. Just give it to me right off the rip. Do not gate it, please. Yeah, don't just make it so that like we receive more damage, enemies and bosses receive less, and we don't find any hearts and pots and grass and stuff. Make it so that the enemy and boss AI drastically step up their game. And again, while still in game startup, we can see some more beautiful new options. For example, like give us the option to either keep things in first person when you're going into the slingshot, the hookshot, or Link's bow, or there can be a new take on it where it borrows this vibe from Breath of the Wild or Tears, where it stays in third person mode. This option's really silly, but I would kill to see it. Give us that option where like we could toggle the polygon graphics on and off on the fly, like we see in the Master Chief Collection and like we see in the Tomb Raider Collection as well. That would be so awesome. I'd love that. All right, first stop on the roadmap here, and that is visuals. And you know, I think Nintendo kind of nailed it on their first try. The promotional art for this game, you know, what you would find in your game's manual or a strategy guide or something, was sensational. And I mean, this is basically as subjective as it gets, right? Visual art, but I think this is it. This is the sauce. This is where they captured every bit of my imagination, especially as a kid, where obviously that's not what we saw on screen with those polygons, but our imaginations filled in the blanks. And I think that promotional art is what helped fill in those blanks, and it did such a killer job. So yeah, just make that. And a little side story, I think I can mostly attribute being a part-time professional illustrator to this game. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with just copying illustrations from the strategy guide. Like, I brought that book to school basically every day. It got so ruined from like going in and out of my backpack so much. Yeah, just drawing and sketching things from that strategy guide every chance I could. I loved it. And it just makes me think now, what I wouldn't give to have a physical copy of that strategy guide again. Now, a couple of other ideas. There's this great YouTube channel called Curiomatic, where they rendered Link in such an incredible way. As far as hi-fi stuff goes, this is basically as good as it gets. But I think maybe it's a little too polished, and it doesn't really leave me the room for imagination. Now, on the same token, we have a different YouTube channel called Ruan Link, hope I'm saying that right, who is reimagining Ocarina of Time in a Studio Ghibli style, and it's phenomenal. I absolutely adore this, and it looks amazing. So that being said, I feel like there might be a Venn diagram of this right here, the key art, and the super realistic Unreal Engine stuff. And what does that look like? Because I think that's where this game actually lives. All right, moving on from there, I want to talk about some of the static cam shots in this game. I want them to stay because I adore them and I love them, and not enough new games do this at all. Specifically, I'm talking about the framing when you're just outside of the Temple of Time, or you're inside Hyrule Castle doing the little stealthy, avoid the guards kind of thing, or even when you're entering Castle Town and the market. Especially, you know how the camera is centered on the fountain in the market and it kind of tracks and follows you as you move around it? God, keep that in. That is just brilliant. I love it. I don't want to see it go. All right, second stop on this roadmap and where we're going to see the most change. It's gameplay, folks. It's gameplay. So considering the N64 controller had the 6 buttons readily available for anyone's thumb to hit at any time, it was super easy to do things like map 3 items to any of those C buttons, play notes on the ocarina and all that good stuff. It's obviously not the case anymore, and we have to compensate for that. So that being said, how do you feel about a weapon wheel? So what I have here is the main weapon wheels for both young Link and adult Link, which one will pull up now with the L button. Then, we can pan over to a secondary weapon wheel where we're gonna find all those items that we don't need or will change up as much. I'm thinking like the bottles, the letter for that side mission, the masks, and like our different elemental arrows, things like that. And you'll notice they're not all here. That's because we got some more quality of life stuff going on. I'm thinking left on the D-pad is the main weapon arsenal. So you've got your swords, your shields, your tunics, and your boots. Quick note on shields while we're here. Nintendo, it would be awesome if and when my Deku shield catches on fire, you can give me a second to roll to put it out. Couldn't hurt, right? One less pain point, I think. Now, this idea is directly from the 3DS remake, and I thought it was super clever, but giving the ocarina its dedicated button. I'm thinking down on the D-pad will just perpetually be the ocarina, whether you're young Link or adult Link. But when you do press down to start playing the ocarina, we still need 5 notes. So what I'm thinking is all the face buttons are 4 notes right there, so B wouldn't be back. The only way to stop playing the ocarina would then to toggle down on the D-pad again, so it is essentially a toggle. So we'd have our 4 face buttons producing 4 notes there, and the right bumper would be the highest note, giving us 5. And last thing with the ocarina for now, I don't think playing songs will be the only way to teleport anymore. We'll open up our map with the minus button, of course, and we can select any of those medallion pedestals we unlock as the game goes on, and there just might be way more places to teleport now. Okay, we've got up on the D-pad, which I think should be like up C on the N64 controller, which is used to communicate with Navi when she's berating you, of course. Nintendo, please dial that back. And of course, to look in first-person mode. I'll be honest, I have no idea what right on the D-pad could or should do. Maybe that's the button to toggle the polygon graphics on and off, or maybe it's like a chef's choice thing where it's your own macro hotkey. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think right on the D-pad should be. Oh, you know what? I'm just thinking of this now. I'm not even gonna edit this in post. There should be another thing in the options where ZR could just perpetually be your bow, your slingshot, just like in Breath of the Wild or Tears. And ZL could be your shield. So in that instance, slingshots and bows won't even be in the weapon wheel, if that's the case. But should one not want to change that in the options, ZL could be to target, and ZR for shields. And this should go without saying, but just to keep things in the same muscle pattern, B should be your roll, Y is your sword, obviously. If there is some sort of sprint in this game, left stick button, and don't give us a stamina wheel, don't give us a stamina bar, no stamina system. Sprint, yay or nay, doesn't matter, just don't attach it with stamina. I hate that shit. And like I said, this is all completely optional. You could just use your start menu and assign all your items to your 3 mappable buttons, just like you could in the original game. But giving us the choice, I think, could be really, really cool. Okay, that's it for controls, but returning to that point about the ocarina and warping around the map, maybe there are challenges or like little points of interest around the new, bigger Hyrule field that we can earn or unlock new platforms to warp to. They won't have songs per se, they'll just be selectable on the map screen. Now, what kind of things could we run into to give us these challenges? Yeah, for instance, like as young Link, there's a bunch of Hylian knights around the world. There could be like a military outpost or like a camp set up around the field. They have challenges for you. There could be caves with micro dungeons. Who doesn't love a cave, right? Come on. Or like, picture a traveling group of Gorons or something and you come across a hole that doesn't just have like a rupee box or a cow. We could have more pieces of heart. So instead of just 20 hearts, maybe Link could have, 24, maybe 26, I don't know. But another really cool thing could be sword arts. Sword arts. I'm thinking Twilight Princess, Minish Cap, Wind Waker, that kind of thing. How sick would it be if our Ocarina of Time Link could learn some unique sword arts? And again, this game's getting remade in front of a 2025 action-adventure audience. The game should be harder. Learning some sword arts in conjunction with a higher difficulty, it's gonna come in so clutch. Oh, and it'd be so cool if it was the actual different species, like Gorons, Zoras, Deku Scrubs. They're the ones teaching you these sword arts. It's not just like random humans. Let's make it more interesting, That'd be cool. All right, music. I don't have much to say here, but I'm passionate about what I do have to say. I feel like this happens all of the time with new remakes where they re-record the whole soundtrack with either an ensemble or a symphony live, and they do it in like a giant concert hall. So no matter what track on the OST is playing, it just sounds like it's perpetually drenched in reverb. For context, I am a professional audio engineer. That's what I do. That's how I earn my money. That's how I pay my bills. So I'm admittedly way more sensitive to this than probably most, but now you know. So all that to say is one thing this game does probably better than most is it invokes such a childlike wonder and playfulness, especially in the beginning of this game, the first half of this game. So take that and imagine like a kid playing with toys on their carpet. In their room, it's a cozy, safe space. Now take that same kid and put them inside of like a cathedral, where they're gonna record this music over. And now that reverb is just haunting and not very comfortable and playful. And yeah, it doesn't sit right, it doesn't feel right. There's just too much reverb, damn it. Do not do this with this soundtrack, please. Let our minds, let our imaginations dictate what size the space of the music lives in. Okay, sound design. And I'm gonna ask the big question first to get it out of the way. Should there be voice acting in this game? Nope. Nope, and I don't want it. But a beautiful compromise would be, how in Tears and Breath of the Wild, they did a really fantastic job with characters having little blips of emotes. Yeah, for me, that right there just invokes so much character as it is. I don't need much more. That just takes care of business. Okay, very important though. The Link emotes, the Link voiced sounds. Guys, friends, we can't change those. They've got way more takes in the bag. Get that old folder up and running again. Pull out some more stuff that didn't make it onto the cartridge, put it in this version. And the last thing, I really, really love the equipment pitter-patter in this game. There's something so recognizable about this game specifically. When you have the Hylian shield equipped and there's this just metallic sound, like the metal of the shield is rubbing against the scabbard on your sword. Yeah, the sound of that iron, it's just so Ocarina of Time, isn't it? I love it so much. But on the other hand, we have Breath of the Wild here, where there's a lot more textures of sound. You can almost hear like more of a wooden knocking. Yeah, just combine that with that classic irony medieval sound from Ocarina. I think that would make for a really nice touch. And the final stop on the roadmap is the story. To me, I adore the first 3 dungeons you play as young Link, and honestly, I've got no notes on them. They're all fantastic. But the first boss, I think definitely needs some work, is King Dodongo. Yeah, we gotta do something with him, and to be honest, I can't really think of much, but one idea I do have is maybe the arena you fight him in isn't just the plain Jane square where we've got that lava pit in the middle. Oh my god, look at that. I had no idea you could do that with the Hylian shield. Almost 30 years later, still learning new shit about this game. I always just stand off to the side close to the lava in that little 45-degree angle there. Perhaps there's something in the terrain now that is a tiny bit of a puzzle in of itself, and when we figure that out, that's the thing that invokes King Dodongo to take that big inhale, so then we can throw the bomb in his mouth. Maybe that little extra bit could make him a way more enjoyable boss fight. What do you think? The other two youngling bosses, Queen Goma and Baronade, honestly, I've got no notes. I mean, Baronade's one of my favorite bosses in the entire Zelda franchise, so huzzah. Now, do you remember how sick it was the first time after you got all three of the spiritual stones, you made your way down Zora's River, back to Hyrule Field, and you get closer and closer to that gate to Hyrule Castle, and the storm starts rolling in, the sky gets a little darker, and then that cinematic video comes in where now it's full-on storming? Oh man, they need to expand upon that. Make it so, honestly, as soon as we're out of Zora's River, the storm starts. Yeah, treat that like a caricature almost, just way more of a focal point. It is such a cool vibe. All right, so we make our way to the Temple of Time. We're Big Boy Link now. Here's where things could get a little interesting. What if we had a light temple and Sheik could get one of those Deku nuts, and just and teleport us to the thing. And this is actually where we get the hook shot rather than, the maze run challenge with Dampé. That could still be there, but maybe Dampé teaches us a sword art. Something still really cool, well earned. But I don't know, I feel like the hook shot always kind of got shafted because all the cool, amazing weapon and items, we had the dungeon to pair with them and almost train us to get good at them, right? But the hook shot, not really. It was kind of just like, oh, you'd need it to get to the forest temple. And I don't know, maybe this light temple could be the hook shot training grounds or something like that. And the boss for this temple could be Sheik as kind of like all right, let's see what you've learned at this point kind of thing. Yeah, it's different. It's really different. It's kind of scary, but it might be kind of cool. Anyway, we find ourselves at the real first dungeon with Big Boy Link. And come on, I mean, the Forest Temple is incredible, right? It's one of the best dungeons in Zelda, hard stop, easy decision. And the one note I do have, the mini-boss pose, the ghosts, just speed it up a bit, make it way less of a waiting game for them to appear than try to hit you with their torches, That's really it. Next stop, we've got the Fire Temple. Once again, no notes. I absolutely love this dungeon. And the boss, Vivalgia, love it, love it, love it. I'd like to see this dragon become a bit bigger, though. There's always been this feeling that, when Vivalgia pokes out of those little holes, kind of whack-a-mole style, she's kind of a little guy. Kind of a small dragon. This dragon's supposed to be eating Gorons and shit, like maybe a little bit bigger? And on the note of making the game more difficult, maybe Vivalgia doesn't need just one bash with the Megaton Hammer. Maybe it'll take a few to then open the dragon up to sword slices. Rather than just one, then you're open to cause as much chaos as you want with your sword. So in between all of those blows with the Megaton Hammer, she can get way more aggressive and have way more cool attacks with her flaming mane. That'd be awesome. I'd like to talk about the Ice Cavern really quick. The place is such a vibe, the music is perfect, but I've always felt like we were shafted out of a good boss fight. We get to the final room, and we've got the Ice Wolf there, right? What could be cool is, first of all, maybe we get a pair of them, and after we beat them, we see the chest. But maybe there's a heap or a pile of bones behind the chest. We go to open the thing, but Link is stopped because the bones are forming a shape and becoming alive now. And it's a giant, undead Ice Wolf. Maybe that could be the boss. All right, we've got the Iron Boots. Let's go to the Water Temple. And in a lot of ways, just like the 3DS remake, Now that your iron boots can become a swappable quick item, it's a lot better. Yeah, but I think we still could do a lot more to fix this dungeon up some. Yeah, maybe there exist a few little tweaks, a few little changes so that the flow of this dungeon, no pun intended, is just way more linear. That, and every time you come to a royal family glyph to, you know, play Zelda's Lullaby and manipulate the water level, it's just a switch. It's going to be a lot faster. Like, I don't want to come up to a thing, play a song, listen to the song play out, and then watch the thing where the water changes. Yeah, switches. Quick, snappy, streamlined. That's what we want. All right, here's another spot in this remake where Nintendo could really do some special shit. The Dark Link mini boss fight, especially now that we've got sword arts. This could be a holy shit moment in this game. Okay, and to wrap up the water temple, Morpha really needs some work. My least favorite boss in the game, and by a lot. Morpha needs to be more fun, right? For such a cool concept, I mean, Morpha doesn't really morph into much at all. It's just like one of those classic sticky hand toys. Just comes up on a ledge next to Link, and that's really it. Maybe it could morph into a way cooler, more menacing form, have way more attacks. Or even like, I don't know, we have those spiky ball enemies through the whole dungeon. Maybe Morpha could change into a giant one of those and chase us around the arena, and we have to like run away and get some distance so that we can like hookshot him. Yeah, just something a little bit more than, again, the sticky hand toy. It's just kind of meh. God, I love the way this game feels when you reach the bottom of the well in the Shadow Temple. Keep the blood in there, Nintendo, please. And Bongo Bongo? Maybe a boy plays an entire drum kit this time? Joking. Joking. Bongo Bongo's he's a great guy. No notes. The Spirit Temple, Twin Rova, again, no notes. Some of my favorite in the entire franchise. Let's fast forward to Ganondorf and Ganon. You know how in the 3DS remaster, everything is just so much brighter and saturated? The contrast, in my opinion, is completely off. I consider this a mistake and one that I don't want to see repeated. Yeah, it's just all wrong, you know? I want to see the arena with Ganondorf be so poorly lit that when he goes and summons his like spark energy attack that you then, you know, play some tennis with, that's basically your only light source. That could be so cool and just make the whole fight so much more sinister. And yeah, he needs some more attacks too, doesn't he, huh? Yeah, something's missing there. What do you guys think down in the comments? What else does Ganondorf do here? The contrast for the Ganon fight is just even worse. Again, I want the only light source during this fight to be the glow of the Ring of Fire and the lightning. I love how his eyes are just glowing and his silhouette is such a mystery. He's so menacing. It's so sick. In the 3DS version, not so much. Everything's very colorful and bright. All right, that's it. The game's done. That's all I got. Now let's talk about how Nintendo can reveal this thing. I'm picturing it at the end of a Nintendo Direct, of course, as the one more thing, and whoever's hosting, maybe it's Eiji Aonuma himself, snaps us right into a black screen. The black screen is a little bit longer than anticipated. It's making us a little uncomfortable. Then all of a sudden, the first thing we hear is the galloping of a horse. A couple of seconds later, the moon slowly peeking over her horizon. And then the piano. Damn, that would be good. And that's it. That's the conversational piece. Please help me fill in any of these gaps that I missed. And let's work together to make the best remake we can, huh? What do you think? If you enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments. We are no strangers to featuring great comments like the one you're about to leave. And definitely subscribe, because I would love to do Majora's Mask one as well. I don't got this tattoo on my arm for nothing. And the other Super Game Boys and I are discussing doing a similar format for The Legend of Dragoon. Yeah, could be a lot of fun. So thanks for hanging out. I'll see you around. Check out one of these videos. I don't know, or don't. You gotta do what feels right. I'll catch you later.